everybody. This is a Meow the Infinite update for those of you who backed our Book 2 Kickstarter. So this is like a good news, bad news thing. If for those of you who saw the mailing list, I already sent it out. The camera's reversed here, so it doesn't really matter because none of the stuff that I'm going to be talking about matters about the camera being reversed. But we got the books back for Book 2 print run. And the quality's okay and all. Like, we were starting to scrutinize it and that stuff and take a look at it. Colors look fantastic. The registration wasn't quite as good as book 1. So it's like, all right. But we noticed a pretty bad print error. And I don't know if you can actually see it in here, but I'm going to hold it up in the hopes that you can. If you can kind of maybe see, there's a missing in that top bubble in the bottom panel there. And again, I apologize for the camera being reversed. That's just webcam kind of stuff. You can kind of see there's basically like a missing, like there's like missing ink, right? There's just some missing ink in that bubble. And I apologize, it's probably not close enough to see it, but I sent out a picture to the mailing list. So that was too much for us. That was too major of an error. And like I said, we really care about the quality of the book. So we basically talked to printer and we're like, we don't think we're okay with that. So unfortunately, that means we're going to have to suffer a little bit of a delay compared to when we thought we were going to be able to ship these out next week. We would have been very early because originally in our Kickstarter we said June. So we were going to be like several months early, and that was great. But we basically said, like, look, we don't think this is we don't want to send things out with that big of an error. So they are going to redo the run, and these books will get recycled. In fact, I kept just a couple of these for this exact purpose. We have 3 of them for just doing a close analysis just to make sure everything else is okay before the reprint, but also so I could show you folks. The rest of them all went back to the printer, and they're going to be recycled. They don't really quite get recycled, unfortunately. It's a little bit of a bummer. They don't get recycled probably to be used exactly the same. Like, this paper is high-quality stuff, and, the recycled version's not going to be as good, so it probably gets used as, I don't know, like newsprint or something. I don't know what they do with the recycled paper. So these will get recycled, and we have to wait for a new batch of paper to arrive for the print. Normally this would not be a huge deal, but apparently paper supply chain has not been great. One of the reasons we were able to do this print run on time and on budget was because we knew about these problems, and we actually pre-ordered the paper back in like November. And so now we have to wait for the paper to come. And I don't know, I have no visibility into that process. Like, we don't order the paper, the printer does. And so we don't actually know when that's going to be. Now, we obviously included a bunch of padding in the schedule because we knew that stuff like this is possible. In fact, it's likely. The last time when we printed book 1, we just got very lucky. We had literally no errors at all. So, when after art in and like after we got all the source material, just so the print came out and it just looked perfect. In fact, it's one of the best looking print runs I've ever seen. This time we weren't so lucky. And so we're going to have to go around again. And like I said, we planned for it. So I don't think at this point, unless paper takes really, really long to get, I don't actually anticipate it affecting our ship date we set in the Kickstarter was when we were shooting for, which is June. I don't think I'm going to have to come back and say, all right, we're not going to make it. It's going to get pushed back. It might happen if the paper's delayed, but, we put a good buffer in there for this reason. So hopefully we'll still be able to get you books by June, but they will be a second run, not the first run, because the first run we just didn't feel like was acceptable. So we're not even going to use them as, discount books or whatever, because basically there's, we could have negotiated with the printer to keep them, but that's not really how this sort of thing works, because like either you get a reprint and they take the books back or you don't. Like they don't really let you keep the stock if you want them to reprint, right? So we didn't really have an option for that. And furthermore, we weren't really sure what we could do with a semi-defective book 2, because if it was book 1 and you were like, maybe you negotiate to pay them something and keep some of that stock, you could give them away, or you could sell them for really cheap at a con, somewhere where you not have to ship it. Because it's book 1, it's like the intro to the series or whatever. But with a book 2, like, the only people who are ever going to buy a book 2 are people who already bought a book 1, and what's the chances they're going to want, a defective copy of it? It just didn't seem like there was much point to it. So we just said, look, yeah, we want to do this. We want to just do the run over. That's what we're going to do. So I guess that's about it. I just wanted to record this so that we'd have one up on the YouTube for people who don't necessarily sign up for the mailing list or whatever, and get their information about stuff we're doing from the Molly Rocket YouTube channel. But anyway, that's about it, and I am going to go take questions from the chat now. But that's it. We'll be back here with an update as soon as we actually know when roughly the new print run will happen. And again, like I said, hopefully that will happen relatively soon. It'll just be dependent on how long it takes to get paper. So that's it. Thanks everyone for watching, and until next time, I guess I'll see you on Handmade Hero.